Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Pace, and welcome back to everyone who is already a subscriber to the YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber to MMA Fancast YouTube page, please subscribe so that you can continue to see great interviews like the one coming at you right now. This is a professional heavyweight MMA fighter, Big Julian Flenory. Julian,
My
welcome
man
back to the show.
Luke, thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
It's always great having you on the show. I've been following you since your amateur career, which has really been a blessing. Now you're a pro MMA fighter, and the big exciting news, which is only a couple days old, I think, announced on 247 Fighting Championship that you're going to be in the main event for 247 Fighting Championships, the second of their 247 MMA at the venue. And they just had their first one at the venue. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. And you're going to be headlining main event of the second ever MMA fight event at the venue. So talk to me before we get into the matchup and all about how exciting it is to be the main event for 247 and kind of experience the new venue and all those things, kind of the emotional side of things.
I look at it as it's a blessing. I don't take the honor lightly. I'm excited to represent, myself, my team, my family, and everyone in being the main event. It's awesome. This is, 247 is setting up something really special here in the Pittsburgh area here with this venue. So I'm excited to be the main event. Like you said, it's only their second show here. So it's fresh, it's new in people's minds, and I feel like this is gonna be like a really good event. And I'm just excited to be put in this position.
Well, it makes a ton of sense. I'm excited that this is going to be the main event. It's a perfect main event. Who doesn't love a heavyweight main event? That's something that is super exciting. I know that they've had pro heavyweight fights before. I don't know if they've had a pro heavyweight MMA main event. I'm remembering back to Cincinnati. There was definitely a heavyweight fight in there, but I don't think it was the main event. So some of the history is always, I'm sure they would know, but I'm going to say it's a very good chance that you were in the first ever pro MMA main event for 247, which is exciting, exciting stuff. You made your pro debut, and now this is going to be your second fight. How did this fight come together? We're what about 2 weeks away? Is it news to you? I think it's relative news to the public, but when did this fight get matched, and why say yes to take your second fight ever as a pro? The last time you fought as a pro was in February. So how did this all come together time wise and those type things?
So actually, it was probably about the fight got announced, about a week ago. I would say that we signed the contracts maybe about 6 weeks ago, I'd say. So we knew that we had this matchup here going for a while. It
Good.
was set up, and waiting for the debut card to go before they announced our fight and stuff like that. So we knew for a minute, Hunter set it up, and we just really liked the matchup on both sides, and we thought that it would be a great fight, both for both the fighters themselves and for 247.
Well, that's what matters, and I'm glad for the camp side of things that you've known about this. Sometimes the public, which includes me, knows about things at the same time they happen. That happens in the fight game where it's like updated instantly, and sometimes in this case, I'm glad that it was already agreed to. Makes sense that they were kind of waiting to get through the debut before they jump into this. So how has the camp been since you've had, I think you said about 6 weeks or more? What did it look like after the February fight? Didn't go your way as a pro debut. How long did you kind of take off before you were able to get back in to training, both mentally and physically? It's good to take time off. So what did that look like, and how has this camp been going at the Mat Factory?
Yeah, well, after my last fight, I pretty much got back into it, but at a slow pace and was safe and stuff like that because that's training is where I like to be for my mental and physical health. So it worked out that way. The intensity level obviously tapers down a little bit when you're right outside of a fight because you know you're not going to have something scheduled for a little bit. But I've been at the gym working and obviously finding out about this. The workload picks up and increases. You're there more often at the gym, you're getting in more strength and conditioning workouts, and the diet starts to stricten up a little bit. So, camp's going coming along really well. I'm excited to where I'm at. I'm excited to be putting these finishing touches in on the camp and really sharpen the sword to get into the cage.
I mean, that's great. I've always said with you, we've done a good number of interviews during your amateur and going into your pro career, and I always like your mentality. I think a lot of that comes from the Mat Factory, and obviously you are coached by a legendary Isaac Greeley, the first ever 247 Fighting Championships Hall of Famer, which well deserved Hall of Famer, and mentality wise. How has he helped you and any of the other coaches, of course, as well, and the other fighters, like mentally, clearly, from the very beginning when I was interviewing you, you've always had great physical talent, but you've also had a great mind game and a strong mentality when it comes to the fight game as well.
Yeah, well, I would say that I'm very fortunate to have good coaches that are able to give me insights on the MMA game, but from a technique standpoint and from a mental approach, physical approach, of course. From Isaac Greeley, his pedigree speaks for itself. Like you said, first in the Hall of Fame, and the accolades go on. And then I have Chris Dempsey and Chris Williams as well. Chris Williams, the second 247 Hall of Fame inductee as well.
You're
Yep,
wearing
you
this.
see it
I was
right
going to say,
here.
I saw that. Yep, those are
Yep.
the two
So
two Hall of Famers. Chris Yinzer boxing, but closely connected to many of the gyms in Pittsburgh, which is great. Absolutely. I mean, that's just what a team. Chris Dempsey, of course, as well, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see what the Mad Factory. If I'm right, Facebook says that the Mad Factory just celebrated 15 years, and
correct.
this is more of an emotional side. But I saw the great news, praise the Lord, that Trent Sidarko is out of the hospital and was able to attend. I know he was one of your main training partners, tall, bigger guy. What has it been like, the physical side, but also being able to support a teammate through emotional ups and downs and a life threatening illness? How has that been for the gym since he's back? Not as a fighter, of course, just as a person. He was able to join, which I think is just really, really wonderful.
Yeah, well, he has been, he's helped with the gym in so many ways from when he was a part of it to now how he's just lit a fire under everyone, both to understand that not to take anything for granted and to put your best foot forward and to work hard because Trent was a role model athlete. He was the epitome of he would work hard, he didn't complain, he was consistent with his work, he brought intensity to the training practice room, and he was just one of those extremely, extremely nice guys that every time you had a conversation with him, you just genuinely liked talking to him. So when the whole situation unfolded with him, we came together closer as a team, I'd say, in different regards and respects and stuff like that. And, I've been able to help him in different ways and support his journey from where he was to where he is now and stuff like that. So to see him be able to like come back and stuff like that and how how much he means to us, as a Matt Factory family. So it's great to see that he's in these recovering stages and, it just means a lot to the Matt Factory in general. And he was a big focus of the event. Like you said, it was a Matt Factory 15-year event. We had matches and we had a bunch of other stuff going on, but him and Dallas, Luke Darionchek's his daughter, we raised a good amount of money to give to both of them for their causes and stuff like that. So it was just a great event, and those things, have a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I mean that's wonderful, and you said it, and I think any good MMA gym should feel like a family and function like a family. There's the highest of highs in a family, MMA family, and what we consider biological family, but there's also lows. And I know, having run an MMA gym for a few years, the lows can really hurt, but also you get closer together when there's life threatening situations, and it makes you really appreciate, like you said. And praise God, he has survived. I mean, that was not certain at one point, and so it's great that he was able to attend. And it's just a blessing to be able to see that your MMA family doesn't stop just when somebody can no longer compete in MMA. Wonderful stuff. Just I wouldn't expect anything different from the Matt Factory family, and I'm glad you're so connected. Now, switching gears from the emotional side, which is the reason why you fight, right? It's the family and the connection and the values and all those things. Well, let's get to something you had mentioned, sir, and that is the matchup to your opponent. You like what you see. I'm sure to some degree he's on board with what he sees, right? That's the matchup. That's the chess game. What do you know about Jeremy Riley, who's 1-1 coming into this fight? And without giving away strategy, what are you excited about with this matchup?
Yeah, I'm familiar with his game, and I've seen a lot of his fights or clips of his fights, and he is a very tough, skillful guy, and he brings tenacity when he gets in there. He likes to bring it, and I like his mentality. I like a guy who's gonna wanna fight regardless if it's like he won his last fight by submission slash strikes. However, if you want to watch it, it's a little bit of a weird ending, but he's shown his toughness to be able to get that victory, and I really like what I see on my side, being able to match up my skills against his.
Yeah, that certainly makes a lot of sense. Something that I always try to bring up is the fact that in your career so far have shown really great hands, great knockout power, but you also have quite a bit of grappling, jiu-jitsu experience. Is this the type of opponent I imagine it would be, given what you just shared about him? Is this the type of opponent that you think will really bring out the well-roundedness of your game? The fact that you gotta be able to strike, you gotta be able to handle the ground and submission.
I think it definitely can if it has to, but I mean, Luke, you've seen me fight, man. When I get in there, I want to get after it, and he knows that. I know that everyone knows that when you're coming to watch me fight, you're getting your money's worth, you know what I mean? I want to get in there and I want to get after him. If he gives me an opportunity where I can get him to the ground where it's effortless, or if it's where it happens to go, then sure, I'll go to the ground and I'll get a submission or a TKO there. But, I want to come in and I want to throw hands, I want to be violent, I want to get a finish. I want to entertain the crowd, and I want to turn things around from my last fight and just show that I'm here to stay and I'm ready to get after it and start reeling off these wins and these finishes.
Well, pun intended here. You just knocked out the next question I was going to ask, which is a prediction, a mindset. You just gave that great mindset there that you want, ideally, on the feet knockout. You'll take a win wherever you get it. But I've seen several of your power knockouts. The award show that I love being a part of for 247. The knockout of the year type stuff that you've been known for. I'm super excited to kind of see where things go for you. You mentioned this, and every fight will be in your pro career. That this is going to launch, the next turn for your pro career, coming back from your debut and being able to go forward. Is that what really kind of excites you about being back in the cage? Not only the opportunity to win, but the opportunity to kind of guide where your career goes.
Yeah, I mean every opportunity is a blessing. You got to look at it as it's a new door you're walking into. It's a whole new it's a fresh canvas, you know what I mean? Each fight is a new slate. And I'm just looking at it as like each fight is a stepping stone to where I want to be at by career's end. And I'm not looking past him at all, but I do look at it as, yeah, I want to use his victory as kind of momentum to propel myself forward and get myself to where I want to be. I'm working hard and I'm ready to, get after him.
Well, that sounds perfect. Great mindset as always. Let's talk about the gratitude you have coming in for who your supporters are, whether they be sponsors. You have a lovely wife who I know is obviously near and dear to the support side of this of this whole journey. So what are your thoughts and your gratitude list as you come in just a couple weeks away from September 6th, main event for 247 Fighting Championship, 247 MMA at the venue, Dose.
There's so many people I can thank. I'll start with my wife, like you said, my wife and my family, the people that guide me on a day-to-day basis. My younger brother, who's also my main training partner. He's there with me every single day from Sunday training, Monday, Tuesday night wrestling tonight, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. He's with me. I appreciate that. My coaches, Isaac Greeley, running the game plan, getting me ready, sharpening the skills for me. Chris Dempsey, same there as a grappling coach and getting me ready. Chris Williams, I'm working with him. He's sharpening the hands. I always appreciate him. All my teammates from Isaiah Falk, Justin Pippins, George Schwab, Cody Gamble, any guys I'm missing, I'm sorry, but all the guys that I work with, even the guys like Patton and Bobby Murda, the guys who help run classes, help give me wisdom and whatnot. Appreciate all of them and just got to reiterate the wife, the family, the friends, the coaches, it takes a village, as they say, and I really appreciate, all the love that they pour into me. That way I can do the things that I do.
Well, that is an incredible list. A lot of great people to thank there. And like we've already discussed, we were talking about Trent, the family side, right? All the people. And some of those people are fighters, incredible fighters. Some are not fighters, but there's still a value add to what you're doing in there. I can't wait to see it. As I always say, people need to get tickets either from the fighters themselves. Sometimes gyms sell tickets, also 247fighting.com. Give Julian Flenory the credit when you're purchasing tickets. Can't wait to see what the second ever MMA event at the new arena looks like with you in the headline. Thanks so much for coming on. I can't wait to see it. This has been Luke Basin for MMA Fancast with Julian Big Flenory. Thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate you having me on, Luke. It's always a pleasure.
Always a blast. Thanks a lot, bud. You take
My
care.
man.